Hi, in this video I just want to show you some KiCad tips and tricks. Let's get into it. Let's say you want to round this corner here. Well, just right click on it, select shape modification, fillet lines, and then you choose the radius you want. You can actually do sum and multiplication where you're setting the position or the dimension of your component, as you can see here. Sometimes you don't want your trace to go directly to the center of your pad, and to solve this, simply press Shift while routing your trace and you're done. Would you like to take some really colorful PCB screenshot or just have an enhanced visual experience? Well, it's easy. Just go to the top right menu there, select nets, double click on the net you want to modify the color, select the color you prefer. Make sure that here on the net display option you select all, and well, that's it. Just one more thing, if you have a ground plane, I actually personally like to make it black so you have this beautiful effect. Another useful feature is to right click on a net and highlight it so that you can see all the connections. If you don't like crosses in your schematic and you want to see like a little jump, a little wire jump, well, we can go here in the schematic setup and then go to the hop over size and select the size you prefer. And you can see now that we have a little wire jump. Let's say we have to place some vias in our ground plane, and of course placing one by one is really inefficient. So what we can do instead is, using one single via, press Ctrl T, and then we can make an array of them like this one. Much more efficient. Another thing you might like to do is to place a circular array of vias. In this case, we go to the circular array tab, then we select the center of our circle, and then we select the number of vias in the circle. There we go. We now have our circular array. This of course works also with components. Here I have 8 resistors and 8 LEDs. As you can see here I have the footprints, and to make it work we only need one pair of them, so we eliminate the rest. We can adjust the 2 components if we have to do. Then we create a circular array by pressing Ctrl T. We select the center of the circle, and then we select the number of components. In this case is 8 because I have 8 pairs. And make sure your settings are the same as you see here. We press OK and we have our circular array of components. But there is one problem. You can see they all have the same net, which is GPIO1. To solve this, just go to update PCB from schematic and make sure the relink option is checked. Then we update the PCB, and now you can see that every component has the correct net. So let's say you almost completed your schematic and you only need to add one egg. Well, as always, we have to search in our component library. Search for egg. There we go. As easy as that. But hey, we may want to check also its size. So we go to the PCB editor, we import our egg, and now we only need to find a place for it, maybe up there. So let's go to the 3D editor and you can see our egg. Isn't it cool? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it the best? Oh my god. Do you know that you can actually override the measuring unit you're using? For example, here I'm explicitly subtracting 100 mil out of the y coordinate of my component. Let's say we want to create a label for each one of those pins. Well, one way to do this is to open a spreadsheet and insert the pin number 1 name. Then we just simply drag down. We copy the name of all the pins. We reopen KiCad. We open the label menu. We check multiple label input, and then we paste the pin's name here. Now we can place the label to all the pins, and we only have to rename the pin number 11 and 12 to 18 and 19. Another way to do this is just to create a label for IO0 and then press the insert key up until we reach the last pin, and in this case we have to rename IO11 and IO12 to 18 and 19. The third and last method is just to select all of them, right click, and then go to pin helpers and create the labels. A good and easy way to create labels in your PCB is just to use the knockout feature when writing text. If you try to move a component, for example up there, you can see that the trace didn't move with the component. So how can we move both of them? Well, it's easy. Just press the D key and you can see now we are moving both the trace and the component. This also works with 2 or more components, as you can see here. So let's say you finish your PCB layout, you have all the 3D files, and you want to manufacture your PCB. Well, the easiest way to do this is to go to the plugin and content manager and install the PCBWay plugin. Once you installed it, you can go back to your PCB, and with a single click you are on the PCBWay website. Here you can modify the quantity, select the thickness of your PCB, modify the color, the surface finish, and really tons of other stuff. And if your joints are like mine, or you don't want to waste time at soldering, well, PCBWay can also assemble PCBs for you. They can also do 3D printing and CNC machining with tons of material to choose with. Just check PCBWay.com, link in the description. So let's say I have this PCB here that is fully THT, as you can see by the 3D model, and my goal is to make it all SMD. While the schematic remains the same, we have only to change the footprint for all of our components. Let's say we start from the resistors, so we have to change it, I don't know, to a 0603 maybe, and we have to do this for all of our resistors. But actually there is a faster way to do this, that is basically going to the footprint manager, copy the modified footprint from one of our resistors and paste to all the other resistors, as you can see here, and there we go. Now they all have the same footprint. It can sometimes happen to have a layout of components like this one, so if we try to connect those LEDs, you can see that it doesn't really connect well. You can see here the angle is not really good. So one way to fix this is to use the G key to enter the free angle mode, and you can see now it connects really well. We can do the same to the other end. We can press G and there we go. Now it connects really well. Another simple way to fix this is to just right click while you are routing, use the interactive router settings and just use the free angle mode. So now you are not constrained to 45 degrees angles, you can use whatever angle you want. If you want to change multiple labels to another type, you can just right click on them and use the change to menu and change to whatever you want. If I try to connect those LEDs using standard tracks, you can see that the result is quite ugly. One way to solve this is to use rounded tracks that you can do using Ctrl-Shift-W. So let's say you want to create a new symbol that has multiple GPIOs, and you start with the first one, that is, I don't know, GPIO1, and let's say is the pin number 1. Now the pin number 2 could be a GPIO2, so you do Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, you rename your pin, and well, you know, it's really tedious to do this for all the pins. So you can go here to the pin table and you can see we have all the information regarding our pins. You can select all of them using Ctrl-A and you can copy them and paste them to a spreadsheet. Then we just delete the column with the Mills writing here. We can select all of those stuff here and drag down, and boom, you can see we now have all the pins with the updated positions. We can exit and re-enter the pin table, Ctrl V, and now Okay, and you can see we have done it. If you want an even faster way to do this, just place the pin number 1 and then use the insert key to create the other consecutive pins. In the PCB editor, if you go to inspect and show board statistics, you can see some really cool stuff. If you quickly want to expose the solder mask of your trace, just tick the solder mask option. Let's say I want to take those diodes and align them in this green rectangle. One way to do this is to take the first diode, for example, and make it, I don't know, 2 millimeters inside this green rectangle. And then we take the other diodes and we place inside this green rectangle. Then I want to align those diodes here with the one here. So I go to align distribute and align to the top. Now those diodes have all the same height, same y coordinate, okay? Now to make things even, I want the 9 to be 2 millimeters inside our green rectangle. So I move the 9 to the right and I check for the position of the corner of the green rectangle, which is 122.1. So this will be 120.1, okay? Let's again check the y coordinate and you can see it's the same. Okay, now we select all of those diodes, right click, and then we go to align distribute and distribute horizontally with even gaps, and you can see now they are well spaced. If you look at the position of one of your components in the PCB editor, you can see that the coordinates are referenced to the page origin, which is not really a strategic point. If we want to change the reference, just go to Preferences, go to Origin and Axis under PCB Editor, and then set Display Origin to Grid Origin. Now we only have to place the origin somewhere. For example, we can place it at the corner right here. And you can see now the position is relative to the grid origin we placed. Let's add a little shark. Let's add it here. Oh my god, guys. What? What the?